Welcome to the very first edition of Podagus, a podcast where we speak to the CEOs of just about every kind of business you could imagine in order to explore the impact of technology both today and in the future. I'm your host, Delcy Bean, the CEO of employee-owned Paragus Strategic IT, located in Hadley, Massachusetts, and serving the Pioneer Valley and beyond. With me today, I have Michael Tomasi, the president and CEO of AccuRounds, a manufacturing business from Avon, Mass. That has been machining precision cylindrical components since 1976. Michael is a second-generation owner and has been personally working in the business since 1985. Michael is very active in industry and educational organizations, including being appointed to Massachusetts Advanced Manufacturing Collaborative, where he is currently serving as the co-chair. He's also the chairman of Business Leaders United, a group led by National Skills Coalition in Washington, D.C. Good morning, Michael, and thank you for bravely volunteering to be the very first guest on this brand new podcast.
Well, good morning, Delcy. I'm honored to be the first. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. So to get things started, I wonder if you could start out by telling us how your family got into this industry.
Sure. My father actually was an immigrant from Italy, came here when he was 17 years old with basically nothing. Was drawing on leather coats on street corners, had an artistic flair, ended up in a manufacturing company, becoming a centerless grinder, which is a type of grinding, kind of perfected that, was asked to go in business, ended up leaving his partners and starting a company on his own. And he now has a legacy of one company founded in 1958 up in Woburn, Mass, called Boston Centerless, and AccuRounds was founded, as you said, in 1976. We're in our 45th year. So I was born into it. I've been involved since sweeping floors when I was 11, 12 years old.
Oh, that's terrific. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today has to do with technology. And so just to provide some context for our listeners, how technology savvy would you describe yourself to be?
Well, I wouldn't call myself a beginner, and I certainly wouldn't call myself a tech savant. I'm fairly computer literate. I have a phone like everybody else does, on the apps, doing some things. We have some technologies here that's incorporated into apps as well. I'm fairly well versed, but certainly not an expert.
Perfect. And I think that's probably true of a lot of our guests. Now, you've been in business since 1985, and I'm sure you've been in the business, and I'm sure you've witnessed a lot of change during that time. I also know that in 1995, your business had a very deliberate focus to become a world-class manufacturing operation. My question to you is, how has technology impacted the business, both since the time you've been there and especially in the last 5 years or so?
It's been transformative. So when the company was founded, it was basically a CAM Swiss screw machine company, not automated, all conventional, you made cams by hand, and you rotated the spindle 360 degrees and whatnot. Not to get too technical here, but we purchased our first computer numerically controlled CNC machine back in 1978.
Wow.
We were on the forefront of that technology, especially on the Swiss side. Since that time, obviously, we've pretty much transformed all our major pieces of equipment and added to our fleet from a CNC standpoint. We still have some conventional pieces of equipment as well. But if you talk more recently, in the last 5 years, 3D printing, automation, robotics, machine monitoring, big data. 5 years ago, didn't know much about it. Today, they're all embedded in our company. So we've had a transformative 4 or 5 year run here. And to me, it's kind of the beginning of, industry 4.0 for us, because there's many things coming down the line for our industry that's going to help us be more competitive and more efficient and allow us to serve our customers in a greater capacity.
Well, and so that's a terrific segue into my next question is, as you look ahead to the next 5 years, what technologies do you see are going to impact your business and the way you serve your customers?
Well, right now I'm reading more and more about augmented reality, artificial intelligence, virtual reality. I've seen presentations on these technologies. We've hosted people internally to do some benchmarking, to learn about things we do that may be able to be utilized in that technology. So we're not using any of that yet, but there's no question that's going to be a major impact in a positive way to our company and our industry.
And is there any technology that, as you look ahead 5 years or even beyond that, that you could imagine either disrupting your industry or having a really significant change on the way you operate or do business?
I'll answer that in two ways. First, we've all heard about 3D printing. We're using 3D printers. Well, metal 3D printing is becoming more and more of a thing, right? The work that we do, it's mostly cylindrical. It's very high-end componentry. We're talking tolerances down into the millionths of an inch. You can't print that. You may never be able to print that, but the gap is closing there. So that could be, it's disrupting our industry already. It's not disrupting Accurons yet, but there could be a point in time in the future. It could be a couple of years or 5 or 10 years down the line where if you're able to print a complete part, we may end up, transferring some of our current technology into that technology so we could print metal parts for our customers. And secondly, uh, it's just data. The amount of data that's being generated and captured in our company is exponential to where it was even a couple of years ago. We're not taking advantage of all that data yet. So, do we need a data analytics person? We're training some of our team members up currently on data analytics. We're just kind of scratching the surface there. That's going to be disruptive, but disruptive in a positive way. It's disruptive because we're capturing so much of it and we, really don't know what to do with it. So we're kind of learning our way through, but that's going to be exciting for us as the years go on, months and years go on here.
As you think about what that excitement it could lead to, what types of use cases do you see for that data that you could imagine having a positive impact?
Well, really, we get paid to do one thing, turn spindles, right? Cut metal. So how efficiently are we doing that? It could be tool life data. It could be program analysis data, um, preventative maintenance, total productive maintenance. There's a lot of opportunity to make improvements on how we're keeping our equipment fit, just like you would keep a car maintained so it performs at an optimum level. The list could go on and on. Our machine monitoring system we've had for a few years has been a tremendous advancement for us because we're seeing real-time performance information. That in and of itself has been a game changer for us. And the amount of data that's able to generate, plus it's incorporated with our ERP system, which is great. That's allowing us to take some processes and combine them and streamline how we operate.
Well, that's terrific. And so now shifting from this kind of very positive, optimistic view, what keeps you up at night? What's your biggest fear when it comes to technology in your business?
Well, years ago, a lot kept me up at night. I can thankfully say not a lot keeps me up at night, but what I do worry about and what I'm most concerned about and focused on is what technology is the best fit. Everything isn't for everybody in every company. So determining that's a challenge. We just, matter of fact, purchased a QC piece of equipment, a portable CMM. It wasn't the right fit. Unfortunately, our provider allowed us to trade that in for a higher performing CMM. So, that's a lesson learned, right? That, and then having the talent to take advantage of the technology. We have a few new software packages, programming packages, and quality packages that we're integrating into our company. So, is our team, accepting of that? Can they learn that? Are they utilizing that to the full extent? We're not yet. So far, so good, but we're going to have to add talent in order to fully take advantage of the technologies that are coming down the pike in the future.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I'm sure that's how a lot of people are feeling. Have your business ever experienced any kind of major technology disruption or outage?
Fortunately, no, other than just power outages, which seem to be a common occurrence here in Avon, Mass. But um, we've been very focused on cybersecurity to the point where we've switched providers to kind of rely on them more, our internet and service providers. Um, we've we're looking right now. We actually just received the Workforce Training Fund grant and have contracted with Mass MEP to look at CMMC, which is a new defense um, requirement at different levels of security that you need in your company. We have multiple certifications, ISO AS. There's an ISO 27000 certification that talks about security management. So we're going to look at all of that and how we can best incorporate that to make us the most secure. I tell you what, you talk about fear. That's something that may keep me up at night is somebody getting tricked in a phishing email and sending, a couple $100,000 out the door that is not going to where it should be going to. So we're looking at, cyber insurance and upgrading what we have in place there. It's a major concern about what we're doing there. And um, we're fortunate nothing is yet, but we continue to have certain huddles and meetings and announcements in the company to make sure that they're aware that these things exist, and not only via the computer, but on your phone. The texting that you're getting now, the phishing text that want you to click on something. So the awareness is very heightened. Fortunately, we haven't been attacked yet, and hopefully we never will be. And we're going to definitely continue to step our game up there to make sure that we're as protected as we can be.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're doing all of the right things. And if we believe the statistics, it's really just a matter of when as opposed to a matter of if. But it sounds like what you are doing, even if there was something, it sounds like you're really preparing your staff to be well prepared for that and to not fall for it and not become a victim of it. So I wish you luck in that endeavor.
Thank you. Thank you, Delsey.
And then as we think about technology, we're often expecting it to do good things for us, to make things better, to make things more efficient. You even mentioned kind of the one piece of equipment that you purchased that didn't quite live up to your expectations. Have there been other times you can think of where technology has actually seemed to make things worse?
Yeah, there's one in particular situation where it's a machining process, and we have a part that has features on both sides of the part. So without getting too technical for the audience here, we have lathes that have two spindles. So you have a spindle and a turret that operate on each side of the machine. You do the front part, and then the spindle picks the part off, and you do the back side. Very complex process. And in order to dial in and make sure that the front and the back side are matching, and then the post-process work the operator was doing to measure it, there's a lot on the operator, on the machinist, to make sure that we're producing the proper component. This particular component, it's called a cover, and it's used in the semiconductor industry. Very precise, very finish aware, no nick, sting, scratches type of situation. Well, it's great to get it all done at once. And, the complexity of machines and the way our industry has gone over the years is to try to get everything done in one machine. Well, we actually looked at some new technology, and we split that operation up, kind of counterintuitive. We made it simpler. We're doing a single spindle one up on one machine, and then we got an automated machine to do the second process. Well, newer equipment, yeah, it's two processes. One machine can feed the other, but one operator can still manage both machines. Much less labor intensive post processing on the operator. So we went, conversely, again, counterintuitive, and simplified a process with better technology that allowed us to get a better product.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think that's a terrific example. And so, as the CEO of a very successful business, you've got a lot on your plate. What is it that you're doing to keep up with everything going on in the technology space?
Well, you mentioned at the outset, I co-chair the AMC for the state, and that's a nice opportunity for me to kind of stay in tune to what's happening at the state level around advanced manufacturing, and contribute to that. I do a lot of work on workforce development and to promote advanced manufacturing, to generate interest in our industry. I attend a lot of association events. I just had an event Monday and Tuesday, a virtual event, where they bring in some keynote speakers and a lot talking about the future of our industry 4.0, and some of the technologies coming down the pike. So that's a great way to stay in touch. I have a peer networking group that we talk on a monthly basis and just exchange stories. A couple of owners of businesses across the country that are involved in advanced manufacturing. That's been very productive. I participated in Vistage for several years, and that was kind of a personal and professional development for myself. Machine tool dealers, we talk to them on a regular basis. We have tooling vendors that come in, suppliers come in and talk about what the latest and greatest is from a technology standpoint. Of course, we're all getting bombarded with newsletters on a daily basis on what's the latest and greatest in the world, and pick and choose what I'm looking and reading. Certain websites that I visit on a regular basis from a technology standpoint. I interact with some of the Manufacturing USA institutes across the country. Matter of fact, The CEO over at ARM in Pittsburgh is Ira Moskowitz, who used to be co-chair of the AMC with me here in the state. He reached out to me this week, and we're going to talk about robotic arms loading and unloading CNC machines, and what they're developing and what insights they may have to help them develop those products. We're looking at cobots as well to do some internal processes here. So, and I guess finally, giving our team the time to research and make sure they're, staying in tune to what's taking place and the people they're interacting with internally and externally, and some of the websites that they visit and conferences they may attend. IMTS is a big international conference being held in Chicago every 2 years. Obviously postponed this past September. It'll be kicking up again next year in 2022. That's a huge event that we attend. The local kind of equivalent to that is East Tech. So we attend that as well. So pretty much a mixture. You got to kind of have your fingers in a little bit everywhere to stay on top of what's taking place, and making sure you're looking at what's going to benefit the company, but not overwhelm the company at the same time.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're doing something that we're seeing with a lot of other CEOs that are being successful, which is not delegating all of it to other people. It sounds like you're taking a real ownership in educating yourself and staying informed, and not expecting that responsibility to solely fall on your team, but that you're also giving them time to learn and develop so that it's more of a collaborative kind of company-wide culture. Would you say that that's accurate?
Yeah, that's very accurate. We have talented engineers. I've got a great team that reports to me leading our company and coordinating a lot of activity, our quality assurance techs. We really try to spread it out. We're a pretty lean organization. We're not very bureaucratic. Matter of fact, we have one of our quality assurance techs recommend something recently, kind of a safety measure. There's a company that will wrap door handles and touch points with these. It doesn't attract germs when you grab it, and they come in and they last so many months, and we're going to try it out. So not really a technology, but a safety, and we're very safety, health and wellness conscious here. So yeah, we look to our team to initiative is one of our 5 core values. So we want people to take that initiative. We want people to feel okay to fail. We don't encourage failure, but we're okay with failure. We try to learn. We don't want to make mistakes. We define a mistake as a failure repeated. So okay to fail, learn from it, and let's error-proof that so it doesn't happen again, right? But yeah, very collaborative. We have certain scheduled huddles throughout the week, throughout the month, where different team members interact and cross-functional areas interact. And that's when a lot of that kind of creativity and continuous improvement activity takes place.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michael. This has been very informative. Before I let you go, we have just one more section here that we call Fast Questions from Flat Delcy. All right, are you ready to go?
I am ready.
All right, Flat Delcy, take it away.
Thanks, Delcy, and good morning, Michael. All right, so here's how this is going to work. I'm going to read you a series of choices, and as quickly as you can, just tell me what your preference is. Ready?
I'm ready.
Tacos or burritos?
Tacos.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs.
Bagels or donuts?
Bagels.
Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Netflix or cable?
Netflix.
Phone call or text?
Text.
Vermont or New Hampshire?
Ooh, I'll go with New Hampshire on that.
Good choice. Eggs or pancakes?
Eggs.
Oceans or lake?
That's another tough one. I'm going to go with ocean.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Jim or Dwight?
Oh, The Office. Jim.
And finally, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
All right. Well, thank you again, Michael. It was great talking to you today. I really appreciate your time. And I think our viewers are going to find this really informative.
Thanks so much, Delcy. This is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
All right. Have a great rest of your day.
You as well. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.